artificial insemination. Because as we are looking to improve the piggery industry, we have to be more of modern. Some of the modern pig farming activities is artificial insemination. We are advising most of our farmers to adopt to this technique in their piggery farms because it's more profitable, as in it has helped to improve the genetics of our farms. And the better the genetics, the better the growth. And when pigs grow, it means more money. Because the pigs we are using in artificial insemination, and those are boas, they have superior characteristics like fast growth and good quality pork for commercial ones. So, artificial insemination, remember science has principles. So, artificial insemination in pigs, it means using or fertilizing a female pig by a man, not by a fellow pig. So, in here, what is key in artificial insemination, especially to the farmer, with artificial insemination, the farmer is the manager. Actually, you find that the highest percentage in the success of this, we mean how can we multiply our pigs at the farm, and we are most interested in two ways. That is the natural mating and versus the artificial insemination. So, for natural mating, this is where a female pig is fertilized. Actually, the female pig is mounted by a boa. A boa is the male pig. So, with natural mating, the boa does the job of mating. Then versus the artificial insemination, here, a technician or the person does the job of inseminating the pig or fertilizing the male pig using a boa in a pack. A female pig, sorry. So, with artificial insemination, a person does the job of serving the female pig using a boa in a pack or using semen. So, the job of serving the pig is done by a person. So, why are we looking at artificial mating? As we are advocating for modern farming practices, we are advocating for artificial insemination. First of all, in what we covered from the last topic, we realized that the easiest way to access this superior genetics is by artificial insemination, or is by buying a pig in a pack or semen. So, first of all, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Or we can just weigh the artificial insemination over the natural mating. So, for natural mating, there is a risk of disease spread. Of course, the diseases, some of them are reproductive, some of them are urinary tract infections, some of them are systemic, like African swine fever, which is the most feared disease in the piggery industry. While here, the risk of spreading disease is low. You get, because the risk of spreading disease here would be, the disease would be ASF. But with biosecurity at our farms, which we'll talk about later, we can reduce this risk to almost 0%. So, again, natural mating, with here, we have superior genetics acquired cheaply, which is not possible here because someone will not import his boa, precious boa, let me say, at over 7 million shillings, and he starts, or he allows you to bring your pig from wherever, you bring it to his or her farm, or move his pig to your farm. So here you have poor, you don't have access to good genetics, and of course there are many more advantages and disadvantages, but most importantly, we've picked out these ones. So for this reason, I advise farmers to adopt artificial insemination. So from here, we can talk about, we can see what is involved in artificial insemination. So we are talking about the advantage. We are trying to weigh the artificial insemination. Why artificial insemination? Why should someone go for artificial insemination over natural mating? So we are saying with natural mating, there is a high risk of disease spread. With the high risk of disease spread, we can say some of these diseases are reproductive diseases. You can talk of the parvovirus here. These ones, sometimes they are spread from, some of the diseases are reproductive, some of them they are affecting the urinary tract system. So some of the diseases here, we have the parvovirus, and this is the porcine parvo. Porcine parvovirus. These days, it's a common disease affecting our herds. Good enough, there is a vaccine for this disease. So when we are using artificial insemination, with artificial insemination, we have eliminated such disease spread. There is low risk. Especially the reproductive and those ones which affect the urinary tract system. We have another disease which is the most dangerous to our piggery sector in Uganda or in Africa. It's called the African swine fever virus. So, is your farm, or whether you're the one having the boa or you're the one having the female, is at high risk of getting the African swine fever disease if you're still using the natural mating system. Whereby, when we are using the artificial insemination system, we can by all means reduce this risk of spreading African swine fever to 0% by using biosecurity. And biosecurity at our farms, we shall talk about it later, it will come later. So this disease is spread through contact of sick animals. So if you're using artificial insemination, you have reduced the risk of spreading African swine fever. Remember, this pig, the boa, especially within our communities, one pig, you find that one pig is serving the whole village. So there is also a risk here of having very many repeats, because you will take your pig to the male when someone has just removed his or hers. The concentration of sperms in the semen this pig will release will be very low. In the end, or sometimes there is no sperms at all. So you find that in such a case, your pig may not conceive. If it conceives, you may have very small litter size. You get, but here, only one ejaculation or one release of semen from the boa may serve a minimum of 20 sows. You get, so you realize that even, that's another advantage, you realize that even you're trying to, you minimize resources, like you're not wasting resources. A pig, if you're doing natural mating, semen which would have been spoiled or spent on one pig is going to serve 20 pigs in artificial insemination. Like we talked in the first session, I showed you that we have all these pig breeds within the country, especially the commercial and the maternal boas. But accessing this pig through natural mating is all impossible, let me say, unless you ship it yourself from wherever you will get it from, which is South Africa, German, any country, Belgium, of which it will be too expensive for you to ship that pig just to do natural mating for you. And to some of our farmers, it's totally impossible. So the only way you can access that superior genetics we talked about, or the good genetics, which is going to give you the best pork, whereby you can be able to compete in the market, is through artificial insemination, whereby you find that a pack of semen you're supposed to use to serve your pig, you can they can be 1 or 2. They are usually at a rate of 35 to 50,000 shillings, depending on the company. But for us at the AAA farms, now that we are, like we first saw our program, we are dealing with the rural communities, whereby we are trying to improve their livelihood through piggery farming. We've reduced further the price of this to only 30,000 shillings. This is for commercial semen, and it is readily available anytime you need it. So with the artificial insemination, you can access superior genetics at a low cost versus the natural mating, which is too expensive.